Good morning and welcome to Norcal APEX Accelerator's webinar, presented in partnership with California DGS, Office of Small Business and Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Services. This is the second part of our three-part series titled, I'm Certified, Now What? My name is Amanda Anderson. I'm the program coordinator for Norcal APEX Accelerator. And today I'm joined by a fantastic business outreach liaison with California DGS. Chad Wright is joining us today, and he currently serves as a business outreach liaison, but has over 25 years of experience working with businesses from construction industry to labor management. He is a fantastic resource and a fantastic presenter, and we're delighted that we're able to help you connect with him today. But before I pass it off to him for the bulk of this presentation, I do want to let you know a little bit about Norcal APEX Accelerator and how we can help you with government contracting. So the APEX Accelerator program is a federally mandated nationwide network of centers just like Norcal APEX, who are funded by federal, state, and local grants to provide education and training to businesses just like yours. Our specialty is in government procurement, meaning that we can help you with anything related to government contracting, whether it's helping you connect with the local city or county agency that buys your products or services, helping you get on a CMAS contract with the California state, or even just targeting specific agencies in your local community that need your services. And we also help with federal contracting, from the more complicated topics like innovation funding, like SBIR and STTR, to helping you get your initial certification so you can just start looking at contracts. And the best part is, no matter where you are in the country, no matter what APEX Accelerator Center that you sign up with, all of these resources are available to you at absolutely no cost. But what exactly do these resources and assistance look like? What in practice does that entail? Well, at Norcal APEX Accelerator, oh, little far. There we go. At Norcal APEX Accelerator, we're able to offer our no-cost government contracting assistance to the 15 Northern California counties that you see on your screen. And we offer those through three main pillars of assistance. First, our one-on-one counseling, where once you sign up with us as a client, which is a very brief online application, you're paired with a procurement specialist, one of our fantastic experts on our team who have been in government contracting. And once you're paired with them, you're able to schedule an appointment with them one-on-one over Zoom, or if you're in person, we do have in-person office options, and they can help you with anything related to government contracting, from doing the initial market research to see what agencies you need to target with your products and services, to helping you make sure all of your certifications and registrations are in place. And we can even help you after you win your first contract. Compliance paperwork can be really daunting, but having another set of eyes in your procurement specialist counselor can really help take that pressure off. Another fantastic resource that we offer to our clients is our custom bid matching software. Now, this is a software our program pays for and is able to offer to our clients at absolutely no cost. And what it does is it allows you to sit down with your procurement specialist and define criteria that you're looking for in a good solicitation. Once you define that criteria with your procurement specialist, they input it into the system, and the system is able to scrape federal, state, and even local procurement sites with relevant opportunities, and it emails them directly to you. And finally, our third pillar of resources is one you're taking advantage of right now. We offer a ton of in-person and virtual trainings throughout the year, covering introductory topics like this California Contracting 101 series that we have, to the more advanced topics like getting into the nuances of federal contracting and even contracting with specific agencies. In addition to the live webinars and live in-person events, we maintain a website with a ton of resources, links, and worksheets to support your government contracting goals. From help with CMMC compliance to fire response and recovery, our website has resources that are available to you no matter where you are, in our service area or not. And that's why this is one of my favorite pillars, because no matter where you are, no matter what county you are in, the in-person trainings, the webinars, the website resources are all available to you at any time that we have them. And so with that, I would love to pass it off to Chad after a bit of a training disclosure, since this is recorded. The information provided herein is accurate to the best of the presenter's ability at the time of this presentation. It is November of 2025. Some or all of the provisions mentioned herein could or may be changed by the current administration, with or without notice. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Chad Wright.
All right. Thank you so much, Amanda, for all of the kind words. Appreciate that. Puts a lot of pressure on me to give a good presentation. So, but anyhow, thanks again. Norcal APEX has been great to work with over the years, even though I've only been with the state for about a year and a half. So basically, I'm going to be giving a webinar presentation. I'm certified now what? So hopefully most of you, if not all of you, are already small business certified and or disabled veteran business enterprise certified with the state. And we're going to kind of talk about some of those nuances and how to leverage and take more advantage of your certification. So I am a business outreach liaison with Department of General Services and our Office of Small Business and DVBE Services. The OSDS unit is comprised of us in outreach, doing these webinars, our folks in certification, reviewing those certification applications, and a training unit, as well as a statewide agency support team that's trying to help different state departments throughout California meet their contracting goals. So what I'm going to cover though today is I'm going to talk about eProcure profiles, and want to make sure that you as a certified business are aware that yes, you do actually have two profiles in eProcure. I'm going to talk about keywords in UNSPSCs and the importance of them, contract opportunities, how to do a little bit of research on past purchases, and maybe how to use that going forward. I want to also talk about DVBE Advocates at each department, reciprocity partners, emergency contracting, and everybody's favorite topic, commercially useful function. So let's get into it here a little bit. eProcure profiles. This information is, it's crucial that this information is accurate and current because if a buyer is looking to find you, you need to have good information in there. So if you got a bad phone number or bad email address, you're not going to be contacted. Or if you don't have a good keyword or UNSPSCs. So, quickly, keywords in UNSPSCs. Hopefully, you've been exposed to these at some point already. They're going to describe the good or service that you provide. They're very granular. They are not the same as NAICS codes. NAICS are on the federal side, which kind of describe an industry. These UNSPSCs, I'll cover them in my couple of slides here. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. So let's talk about keywords. So obviously keywords describe a good or a service. Concrete, environmental, legal. So you choose the keywords. You need to be creative. Put your thinking cap on when you're coming up with keywords to describe your business. How would somebody find me? And the great thing is you pick the keywords, you can change the keywords, you can get very creative with those keywords. You don't want to use a sentence to describe your business. A short phrase, information technology, office supplies, things like those short phrases. Um, but then you're going to want to use different synonyms, the alternative terms. You may be the subject matter expert, but the buyer that's looking to find a business isn't a subject matter expert, and they're using a more lay term, and they're not using the subject matter expert term. So you want to be a little bit flexible and varied in the way you describe your services. Okay. Great thing is singular and plural as well. Um, that last point, you could always you look at keywords from competitors. If you know a business is certified, you can search them in CaliProcure, find their profile, or you could actually do a keyword search for competitors and say, okay, look at all their keywords they have in their profile, and let me borrow some of those. Now, UNSPSCs, that stands for United Nations Standards Products and Services Code. It's an 8-digit number, and it identifies a good or service. It's not an industry. Like I was starting to get ahead of myself, like the NAICS codes. NAICS codes, they describe an industry, and your size in that industry is going to determine whether you're a small business or not. Unlike the state, 100 employees or fewer, doesn't matter what UNSPSCs you have, you can be a small business. And the UNSPSCs, as I said, are very, very granular, very specific. So you can see here in this sample, there is a UNSPSC for copy paper. So if you sell copy paper, you're going to have that. You're going to want to have that level 4 code in there, that 1411 1507 code in there. Now, if you sell also fax paper, hospitals still use fax paper. There may be 1411150608. I'm not exactly sure what the code is for copy paper, but there's a whole series of those. I would say that you want to use the level 4 codes as much as possible in your profile. And if you find one level 4 code that's applicable to your business, I would also suggest you use the level 3 code as well. All right. The parent code. The system is not smart. You can't just say, I'm going to use the level 3 code and it's going to auto assume that I'm going to have all those level 4 codes. Our system is dumb. There is no algorithm. There is no logic lookup. It is an exact character match. And that is the same. That goes for the keywords as well. It's exact character match is the way our system works. So if you don't have that exact UNSPSC in there, you're not going to be a match. You don't have that correct keyword in there, whether it's a lay term or a specific subject matter expert term, you're not going to be a match. So you got to be really creative and be thorough in these UNSPSCs and keywords. So one thing I want to talk about here. So UNSPSCs, and I referenced this, I think when I first got started, you have 2 profiles in CaliProcure. You have a bidder profile and a certification profile. We also call the bidder profile a notification profile. All right. That is there for a UNSPSC match on bidder profiles. You get those automated notifications, that system notifications there. Nobody can see those other than you as the business owner. Okay. So you have all these UNSPSCs in there on your bidder profile, your notification profile. When a solicitation is added into CaliProcure, they want to advertise a solicitation or event, as we call them. They have to take it with at least one UNSPSC. If you have that same UNSPSC in your profile, you get an auto-generated email that says, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Business, here's an opportunity you may have an interest in. Go back to CaliProcure to look at more information. Okay. Now the certification profile, that is what I can see as a person in the public, actually. And that's what buyers go for. And when they're trying to find matching businesses, making sure your certification, looking at your certification profile. What is your certification type? Is it a small business or DVBE certification? Or maybe you have both. All right. And that's how buyers go in. They use UNSPSCs to find those businesses. And on the screen here, you're going to see can be aspirational. Be more specific on your certification profile. I think that's good advice. we've confused you enough with creating two profiles. But the certification profile, when a buyer is reaching out to you, they want kind of a yes or no answer. And if you're like, well, that's not really what I do, I'm just hoping to get in that door front, that's not a good it's not a good place to get started. So the ones in aspirational, those are auto-generated emails, database to database. So it's not that big of a deal if your bidder profile is a little bit more generous. So in selecting UNSPSC, so you're going to go into Cali Procure registration and certification. That's where you're going to add them. Okay, you can search on our DGS website to find UNSPSCs in the top right-hand corner of the dgs.ca.gov/PD. You can type in UNSPSC and it should take you to, or one of the top hits should be a way to do a research on UNSPSC and use a keyword to find the codes, right? They suggest not using the actual United Nations Standards Products and Services website because the state doesn't use all of those. So you may be finding them on their website, but the state doesn't use them. And I've seen it in some cases where the state has actually kind of added in more codes because we are doing some things from others that the United Nations is not actually doing. Okay, do we have any questions on getting ourselves on keywords and codes, Amanda? I don't see anything.
Yeah, nothing as of right now, but I will note that is a good note for my education as well, because I've been throwing the United Nations website at the webinar
Mm-hmm.
attendees. I'm going to drop the DGS site for UNSPSC codes in the chat right now.
Yeah, I mean, Amanda, I do the lookup in the flow through the to the actual United Nations website is to me is a little bit more user friendly because
Mm,
if you don't use the right term to find the code in our database, you may not find it. So you may have to try several different versions of that same um, um, keyword, this
yeah.
different synonyms to try to get the match. So there's a different. Oh, then I hit ahead. I did jump ahead there, didn't I? So I think we're okay though, right? Yeah. So we're Okay. All right.
And
So let's
actually,
start.
we
Go
we
ahead.
did get one quick
Oh, okay.
question.
hmm
And I do see it just real quick. Someone's wondering how to tell whether or not they are certified. And that's just something they can check in their profile, right?
Yes, absolutely. And on the next screen, I'm going to show you, and I can kind of walk somebody through that real quick and how you can take a look at that.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
And I believe the first session, which we do have a recording of on our
hmm
website, the first session goes more into detail about that setup and getting certified. So that might also be a good one for you to check out. I'll drop it
And
in chat.
it's super easy to get
Yeah.
certified and especially registered. Okay. So everything for the state and where you can find out if your business is registered or not. Maybe you're working on behalf of your boss and you want to say, oh, are we certified or not? You don't know, but your boss knows. You're going to go to caleprocure.ca.gov. That is sort of the online marketplace for the state of California. If you want to do business with the state, you need to get registered in Cal eProcure. So for that viewer that asked that question, under the quick links, it's not a live web page here, but under the quick links, you could do find certified firms. Is one of the drop down options. And if you type in your business name or part of your business name, you should get a hit. You should get a match if you have an active certification. If you don't get a match, but your boss is insistent that, hey, I know we certified. Well, maybe the certification has lapsed. Okay, you should still be able to log in and through your work center and find that information if the certification has lapsed as well. We're only displaying active certifications in our database on the public side under that quick links tab. So we're going to go to Cali Procure. Really, that's where you're going to want to do everything to do business with the state. So you got to log in up here in this top right hand corner. Anytime you get in Cali Procure, I would suggest you do that. And if you do log in, if your certifications are active, you're going to see it right here, kind of in the middle of this screen. You can see that Outreach Test Company, our business, has 2 approved certifications. All right, and you can see that the other 2 have were canceled or expired. So if you have an active certification in there, it's gonna state it just like that, just like you see here on the screen. Okay. So now we talked about having 2 profiles in Cali Procure. We're going to take a look at your. The prior slide said bidder notification or bidder profile. Now here it says notification profile. Okay, that's why I kind of stressed uh, the synonym for the that same profile. So that's the hidden profile that nobody can see except for you. Okay, it's your notification profile. So you want to make sure that you've got your notifications turned on to receive subcontracting opportunities. You're going to scroll down, making sure that you want to have this turned on, this CSCR bidding opportunities. CSCR is California State Contracts Register. That is the automated system. When they advertise a solicitation, they add it to the CSCR. They have to tag it. That buyer has to tag it with one UNSPSC code. They could tag it with 5, doesn't matter. But if you have a matching code, you're going to get that auto-generated email sent to these notification contacts that you see listed here. Okay. And then you're going to want to have your service areas turned on. You're going to either click statewide or you're going to choose specific counties. I'm going to jump back real quick, but so you can add one county at a time, but just by clicking on that little the hamburger icon there under area ID in the service areas window. Okay, then you're obviously gonna need to have some good UNSPSCs in there. You're gonna use a word or a phrase to try to describe what it is. In this case, they chose the word paper, and the system does not. Again, it's a dumb system. It's looking for that sequence of characters, PAPER. Okay, it's not necessarily looking for what you think of when you hear the word paper, right? So anytime it finds that sequence of those 5 characters, it's going to retrieve the results for you. And they're going to be kind of mixed and matched just because sometimes that phrase is in there and sometimes it's not. So you're going to look and see the samples. You're going to check those that you want to receive opportunities for. Unlike what they are displaying here with the 2 check boxes, I would get a little bit more specific than the 2 they chose here, but this is what they created for the slide that I'm highlighting now. If you scroll to the bottom of the page, you can't really see it, but you would say add selected. You choose a box, you click add selected at the bottom of that column, and it literally moves them from the left column to the right column. And then you just keep doing that until you have all of the UNSPSCs in your profile that you want to have. So that is really quick on your notification profile, really simple, easy to modify, to change. Any questions, Amanda?
Yeah, we did have one entered into chat. I typed up something, but I would love to pose it for the entire audience. It sounds like someone has a profile set up in Cal eProcure, but hasn't been getting any notifications.
Okay.
But they are on there, like seeing bids that are relevant to them. I know it could be a couple of things that are causing this, but
Right.
do you have any idea of how we could direct them? I kind of told them to reach out to you or us directly for more
That would be
in-depth
great.
help.
That's great. In depth, and we can do a screen share and look and say, oh, maybe you don't have something toggled on,
Yeah,
or maybe you don't have the correct counties selected, or somehow there's a UNSPSC that's missing. I don't know what the case may be. Let's take a look at that. Look at those opportunities that you're seeing, but you're not receiving those advertisements, and try to troubleshoot it. We can do that on a one-on-one basis. Love to
perfect.
do
And
that.
yeah,
And I'll share a QR at the end of my presentation where you can schedule with anyone from outreach or anyone on the outreach side.
mhm,
John, Pierre, Mariella, Teresa. There's a whole 7 of us that can offer these one-on-one consultations. And we'd be glad to do it for you.
perfect. Yeah. And the consultations is one of the benefits of coming to this webinar is just knowing about it and connecting with them. The business outreach liaisons are such a good resource, and there is a line of what they can help you with, but that's kind of where Apex Accelerator steps in. So
Right.
you definitely
Exactly.
have support and resources to get that profile up and running and fully functional for your company.
Right. Good point, Amanda. Yeah, we have limits in what we can do at the state because
Yeah.
at some point, if we are answering kind of very specific questions, then we could be seen as putting our finger on the scale, so to speak, and we are not allowed to do that. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, with that question answered, let's go on and talk about the certifications and managing them. So, now we're going to talk about your certification profile. What is viewable on the public side? You're going to be logged in to Cali Procure. You can click on either of these two links, and it's going to take you to manage certification. Now, this is where I get paid the big bucks because if you haven't done this ever before, it is not at all intuitive as to where you manage your certification. Um, because it looks like, oof, I don't mind, I don't see any button, keep amending my certification. Well, actually, what you're going to do is you're technically going to amend your application. You're going to click on that link right there, and it's going to take you to what you look like you just did. You fill it out in an application, and this is how you got certified. You don't need to make any changes here, because, well, you make certain changes, you may actually change your application, and then it might kick it back out, and they want to get more documents. You don't want to necessarily do that. Okay. Here you can make some tweaks to your phone number or your address if something has changed, but I would not change your business structure or anything like that at this point. So you're going to need to get into this, and you're going to get over to that other tab is where we need to go. And if you remember, when you filled it out, you need to scroll to the bottom, click save and continue, and you're going to repeat that process several times until you get to that other tab. Okay, you're going to go through business, you're going to owners, affiliates, taxes, and then we get to other. And now here's where you can, hey, I want to change the counties that I service. Um, or I want to, this is where you add in your keywords, right? You've got all of these, sort of sample of keywords here. In this case, somebody has the word lamps and light bulbs. Sometimes you may think, okay, that's light bulbs and that's how it's spelled. But maybe a buyer is looking and they type in light space bulb. So you're going to want to have those variances in there. It just is a little hit on the keywords. Um, and this is where you're going to come in. You're going to scroll to the bottom of this page and then of the page, or to the middle of the page, I should say. And this is where you're going to add in your UNSPSCs. So you're going to click on add UNSPSC classification. And again, you're going to type in the keyword or phrase to try to find that matching UNSPSC and click up. You're going to find the options, choose those, and now lo and behold, they get added to your profile. You can't really see it here because they're the way they're sorted. But the most important thing here is after you've added your counties or modified your counties, you've modified your keywords, you've modified your UNSPSCs, make sure you scroll to the bottom of that page or to that section and click save. All right. You don't want to undo or else you're going to get to do it all over again. All right. And then once you click save, you're going to see those options have been added to your profile. All right. And then that is it really. And then when you're done, you scroll to the bottom of that window in the application and click save and exit. Okay. Because if you click save and continue again, you're going to see the page where you uploaded all the documents that you needed to upload, your tax returns, your DE9Cs, all that kind of stuff. So just save and exit at that point and you're good to go. And it'll take you back out to your work center. Now, when you're also in your Cali Procure profile, you've got the ability to make some changes or include information about your business, about the owners of the business. This is voluntary information. It has no impact on your ability to contract with the state. It's not going to influence your abilities. It's not going to create more opportunities. Essentially, what the state is doing in 2022, the state started collecting voluntary diversity data from certified businesses and those ones that are registering. And we are doing this because the state is committed to supporting equity in state contracting and diversity in state contracting. So the bottom line is this helps us create more targeted outreach efforts to business owners that are interested in doing business with the state, making sure that the business owners doing business with the state look as much like the people of the state of California as possible. All right. So that is the driver behind that. It's not going to, again, not going to have any impact on any of this kind of stuff in your contracting opportunities. It is publicly viewable information. We do download it and look at it and try to make sure that, okay, yes, we're moving in the right direction, or maybe we need to focus in another area, and that will kind of help us create a game plan for more outreach efforts. So with that, you can go back to your profile, manage diversity information. All right. And that's where you're going to go in and you're going to check boxes that do or do not apply to you, or check boxes that do apply to you. Again, you can go in, modify them at any time you want. All right. I'm going to take a quick break. Do we have any questions? Have any questions jumped in, Amanda? I know we don't have a Q&A here in this, but that would be a good spot for one.
Yeah,
So
no questions as
no
of right
question.
now,
Okay.
but this is a good time. If you are having questions about the presentation, about Cal eProcure, about your certifications, about how you can connect with all of these resources, please do make sure you're entering them into the Q&A section of Zoom, just so I can track them a bit easier and make sure they're answered.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
So now we're going to talk about finding contract opportunities. The first thing we're going to talk about is the CSCR, the California State Contract Register. That is public competitive bidding opportunities, and those are where you can post ads as well. This is what drives your notification profile drives opportunities through the CSCR. So you're going to be logged in to the CSCR. You could do a start search, and you could enter in in here they've got a word in the event name, or I would suggest possibly using advanced search criteria, and then looking at the different UNSPSC codes that are there, the service areas that are there, or if you are a contractor, whether you're a construction contractor, whether you're a prime contractor, general contractor, or a subcontractor, you could always look by a license type requirements for that particular solicitation. Ideally, if you have a good notification profile with lots of opportunities with your UNSPSCs, you shouldn't really have to come in here to do a UNSPSC search. That information should be being pushed out to you if you have kind of cast a wide net. Okay. The only time to me that you would maybe come back in here is on a contractor license type. But if you've got a good notification profile, you should be getting these notifications. And again, if you're not, there's a consultation, and I'll show you that later. So after you've gone into CSCR, you've done a search, or you don't even, you just what exists there, whether somebody's done a search or not. In this day, somebody pulled this slide information on May 10th of 2021, and there were 458 active solicitations, meaning advertised, got a established bid date, and away we go. So you can see here, you can click on any line of this event ID, event name, department name, end date, or status. You can click on any kind of field, that whole row, and it's going to take you to more detail. Now, just to make sure it is abundantly clear to you, that end date is essentially the bid date. Okay. On May 10th of 2021 at 11:01, the solicitation is gone. You've missed the opportunity to bid on that particular solicitation, right? So if you go in Cal eProcure today, you're going to see the event date. You can sort by end date and see the ones that are expiring today or bidding today. But if you don't get your submittal in by that end date, you've missed the opportunity. But if you see something and you want to get more information on it, you just click on the event or the solicitation. It's going to give you more details. It's going to give you the UNSPSCs that are associated with that. It's going to identify, hey, in this sample here, you can see that there were 4 different contractor license types for this particular solicitation. You're going to see the opportunity to view the event package, top right-hand corner. You could download information. You could post a vendor ad, that middle button on the top right, and you could view a vendor ad. And I'm going to talk about those ads here just briefly. Now, you need to be logged in to be able to view to post a vendor ad. You can view a vendor ad, but you need to be logged in to post a vendor ad and to respond to a vendor ad. That's why I always suggest you log into eProcure anytime you're there working in this platform. All right. So you look at this vendor ad and you want to post an ad. In this case, maybe you're a subcontractor, and you see that they need somebody for fencing, or you think there's probably fencing. What you're going to do is you're going to go in, add in your contact information, your email, your name, your phone number, your name of your company. In that description field, include your certification information, whether you're an SB, DVBE, and that certification number. And if you're a sub seeking a prime, you're going to click on that button. Nobody has toggled the button here in this sample. Or maybe sometimes there's a primes, they're running ads looking for subcontractors as well. So be a sub looking for a prime, and then any prime that is looking at this individual solicitation will notice it in eProcure. Now, these ads are associated with the specific solicitation. They are not shared throughout eProcure. Okay, it is tied to the individual event or solicitation. So, and that is how you post an ad. And we got a question.
Yeah, we had a question come through. It was one that was already asked and answered, so I just typed up a little
Okay.
something. But we do have a couple of folks who are kind of wondering, and this might be a good point to kind of discuss, when should they connect with you and your office for assistance, as opposed to connecting with an outside resource?
Well, Amanda and the folks at the Apex do a great job. So they're going to be able to give you lots of advice. Now, we as the state can help you with your eProcure profiles, whether it's your notification profile, your certification profile. We could help you walk through some other things that I'm going to talk about. But at the Apex Accelerators, if you're looking for information on how do I bid, or how can I find, do I meet all the requirements? You're going to want to reach out to the Apex Accelerators when it's actual active kind of bidding information that you have a question about, and maybe looking for funding or whatnot. In my office, what I can do is I can show you where the fish are, and I can maybe show you some examples of what I'm going to tease this for the next presentation is what are the fish biting on? What are the acquisition methods? All right. And so acquisition methods are just the way the state buys your good or service. And that's really important information for you as a small business owner to know. That gets covered in the next workshop in probably
Yep.
2 weeks or so, right, Amanda?
Yep, we'll be having that next workshop in about 2 weeks on November 20th.
Yeah. So they'll talk about fair and reasonable leverage procurement agreements, that kind of information we can provide to you as well. And
Yeah,
finding the points for that. All right. Any
perfect.
more?
I think that sounds good. And again, if you do have any questions, please enter them into the Q&A. We always love answering your questions, and that's really the benefit of attending this webinar live is you get to ask questions of Chad and really learn from his expertise.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to jump into kind of a little bit what I was talking about. Researching past purchases. Skippers, State Contract Procurement Registration System, SCPRS is how we pronounce that acronym. Okay, so it is a database of state purchasing and includes state and non-state dollars, meaning if there were federal dollars mixed in to that solicitation, that gets kind of counted. It's public facing, meaning you don't need to log in. Anybody can access that information. And this is a great tool for you to conduct market research, to understand how the state is buying your good or service and who at the state buying your good or service. So to get to Skippers, go back to eProcure. You're going to click on that lower left, find public procurement information button, and then you're going to click on past purchases in the state contracting and procurement registration system, skippers. All right. Or you could always go to the quick links and choose find past purchases. Okay. Skippers. Um, so I would suggest that you do an advanced search. And that means clicking on that link right there and entering in the UNSPSCs that you're going to have in your profile that you have an interest in. Okay. You can enter multiple. You don't have to enter one at a time, but you have to enter them. I mean, you can have multiple. You don't have to do one search at a time, but to add multiple, you have to add them one at a time. It's a very antiquated system. My apologies for the way our system functions, but it is what it is. I would also suggest that you modify the transaction start date and kind of narrow that to about 3 years or so, maybe even less. Okay, because this is looking at all state contracts going backwards to 2015. That's a lot of information. You're not necessarily concerned with acquisition methods from 2016, 17. You're trying to look at stuff that's kind of more current. Again, these are contracts that have already been awarded, been let out. And so you run a query in this case, and you could do a keyword search if you want under the description field. You can enter a keyword in there. All right. And you may get some results that way as well. But I would suggest to UNSPSCs as much as possible. So when you get to search results, you're going to see a display sort of like this. And the two most important columns to me is that first column, department name, who bought it, right? And then looking at the kind of column that's kind of cut off is the acquisition method. To me, that's super important to you as a small business owner. All right. Is it an SB option? Is it a fair and reasonable contract? Was it purchased through a leveraged procurement agreement? You need to know, or was it competitively bid, formal competitive solicitation? You need to understand that information. Again, that's level 3. I'll get into that a little bit more. What the great thing is, you see this data, you can download the search results as you see them here, or you could download detailed information, the other button on the third, and I will take you to that next slide. And what it's going to show you, it's going to show you all the different UNSPSCs tied to that one particular purchase. So I've kind of highlighted this row of data. That's one individual purchase, but you can see the different UNSPSCs tied to that one individual solicitation. All right. So when you do a UNSPSC search, you're going to get search results like this. So you can get real granular and see, okay, how many did the state buy and what did they pay? And so you can see, okay, where is my pricing in relation to prior pricing? Okay. That's why I suggest limiting your window only going back a couple of years. All right. So this is completely free information for you to do some detailed market research and get some really good information on how to market your business to the state. All right. So any questions?
Um, None at this
No,
time.
no. Awesome. All
It
right.
sounds like all of this is just so straightforward. We got geniuses in the chat. I feel
It
like,
can be
especially
okay.
for this one, since it's a lot of demonstration, it's kind of
Mm,
like it's straightforward until they're in there and it's not,
right,
you know?
right. Yes, yes. Once you get in there and you start playing around and having to deal with the way
Yeah.
the particulars of our system, it gets a little finicky. So, so with that, I'm going to move on. So to do your market research, to me, you go into Skippers, you look at the departments, you understand how they're buying, and you can see, like, and I'm going to jump back here on this slide. Going to go back a couple of slides. Actually, so you can see the supplier name. That's the kind of 3/4 of the way, 4/5 of the way to the right hand side. See, the first one is Gateway Portfolio, Q&A Constructors, Placer Electric. A couple of them you see they do have a certification type listed there. That means they have a profile in Cali Procure. You see businesses, your competitors that are getting these contracts. You could always look them up in Cali Procure, see what their keywords are, see what their UNSPSCs are, making sure you've got all your bases covered as well. All right. So that's good information for you to be able to kind of a way to do a little bit of more tweak your profile based on what you see. So now you've seen that department who's been awarded who's awarded that contract. Now, what's important to know is, and this was covered in section 1, are these advocates at every department that spends $100,000 a year. Small business DVBE advocates. They're employees with the state. They typically work in purchasing and procurement, and they typically have other responsibilities other than being a small business slash DVBE advocate. Okay. They have other roles and responsibilities in their day to day. So you reach out to them. You may see a little bit of a lag in them getting back to you, or maybe they're really efficient at it. Okay, it's gonna vary. So you found that department name. So you've done your market research. This is the state department that buys it. This is the how they have purchased it. Now let me find the advocate for that particular department, because that's who you're going to want to get connected with in order to market your business. Okay, so they are there to help SBs and DVBEs pursue contracting opportunities with their particular department. Okay, they work with the buyers, all the other buyers in their particular department. I know the advocate for us DGS. Her name is Allison Kengott. She's a small business advocate. She works with 60 buyers within DGS, so she's very busy. So she's got lots of responsibilities. So these advocates help you get connected with their department. Okay, you're helping that department also meet its 25% mandate or their 3% mandate. Okay, and when a department is looking for procurement opportunities, maybe they want to go with an SB option contract. They're going to go in, they're going to reach back to their advocate and say, hey, can you find certified small businesses for me? And they're going to go into eProcure and they're going to do the search for certified firms. Okay, so advocates, really important for you to get connected with. Okay, and when you get connected with them, be prepared to have some basic information. Okay, your contact information. You can send them an email. I'm going to show you how to do that. You can pick up a phone and give them a call, but you're going to want to have your certification information in there, which is cert ID is, okay? Because they're only going to work with you, or they're going to work with the certified firms, okay? You're going to be talking about, contacting them, what you do. Hey, you've done a little bit of research. You've looked in Skippers. You've seen that they purchase your goods and services by a fair and reasonable contract method or SB option contracts. So you want to kind of come in with that knowledge as well. You're also going to want to have your capability statement. If you don't know what a capability statement, I cannot help you create one. Amanda may be able to help you create a capability statement, right? That's where Apex comes in. So what is a capability statement? It's a resume for your business. It could look very simple like this, or it could be very fancy with graphics and pictures and other information. But what you're going to have in there is you're going to have some basic information, your contact information for your business, your certification information. I mean, you could have, a one capability statement for state and federal. You could have one for just for federal. You could have one just for state. You're going to want to include your UNSPSCs, core competencies, differentiators, past performance. You've got experience working with government, et cetera. Maybe you don't, but you've got some business to business experience, and that could correlate to business to government. All right, capability statement. So you're going to reach out to them. Hey, do you have any upcoming opportunities? Because they should know for the most part if they do have any opportunities that are coming up. Can you include me in relevant solicitations? Can you include me in SB option and fair and reasonable? Fair and reasonable are contracts under $10,000. Never going to be in the CSCR. Never going to be advertised. All right. So that's something you need to know. You'll learn more about in session 3. And then you say, oh, what are your commonly purchased goods and services? You should know that. You've done your market research in Skippers. You should be knowing that. Because actually in Skippers, I showed you how to search by UNSPSC. You could also go into Skippers and then let me look at all just by department and look at all their purchases, goods and services. And so then you have a better idea And then you could attack them with your marketing plan, knowing that information. Say, hey, I sell this. I see you buy it all the time. Keep me at the top of your list. All right. How do you find those advocates? Go back to eProcure. Click on the training and resources, find training and resources button. Go back. It's going to open up this page. You're going to click on under the research and marketing category, contact a small business and DVBE advocate. Going to take you to our page, DGS webpage. And you're going to be able to click here to view the advocate directory, right? And it's going to give you this beautiful directory. You're going to have all this information in here. They've actually just updated this advocate directory about a week or two ago. Gotten better. Gotten better. Yes, I understand why you're clapping, Amanda. Because now, and you can't see it on my screen here in the screenshot that I sent. I don't know if I even had that information then, but now you can download this information into an Excel file. Okay. So you found the advocate, you found, oh, I want to work with, and I mentioned Department of General Services, kind of the one you see kind of about 2/3 of the way down the screen. You see Allison Kim Gott's name, General Services, comma, Department of. She is the small business advocate. Scrolling to the right on this display, you would see her phone number and or email address. Okay. Now, what I've clicked here in the sample I've highlighted is this SB first policy. What this means is that the departments that I'm displaying here, and this is an old slide, so you may want to go back and check it out, is these departments have a formalized SB first policy. That means they are trying to include small businesses or DVBEs at every opportunity in their procurement. At DGS, I believe I've heard Allison say that anything under $250,000, they try to go SB option first. SB option contracts are those contracts between $5,000 and $250,000. They try to do SB option first. That's their first SB first policy. If they can't meet that need through SB first, then they'll do maybe a more formalized solicitation and go beyond certified firms. You have a DVBE certification. I know the military department, Calvet, they have a DVBE first policy. Okay, so if that's your certification, one of your certifications, you want to kind of use those as well. It's going to vary department by department what their actual policy is and how they institute it. But they do have a formalized SB first policy. So if you see that they buy your good or service, they have a formalized SB first policy, they're going to be good marketing targets for you. All right. Any questions?
Yeah, just one looking to connect with both of us. And I know that we will be, I feel like that's what
Sharing that
everybody wants.
information.
It's
Yeah.
the connections.
Right.
Um,
We'll
so
get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
exactly. And you will be getting Chad's direct contact info as well as the QR code to schedule a meeting with him or one of his team members who can help you with
Hmm.
your profile. If you are looking to connect with me, I do want to note I am not a procurement specialist. I am more on the administrative side. So while I don't do counseling directly, I have a team of procurement specialists who specialize in anything from local contracts, Department of Transportation contracts, federal contracts, state contracts. We cover it all. So if you are looking to connect with our services, I will drop the join link in chat for that.
All right, great. Yeah, we'll have that information. We'll get you there. We'll get you there.
Yeah.
But you gotta listen a little bit more, a little bit more. All right. So now that we've answered any questions or comments, I'm going to jump into kind of an added benefit of becoming certified with the state of California, and that's something we call reciprocity partners. Reciprocity partner is a city, county, agency, special district, etc., that honors the state's small business and or DVBE certification. They accept it into their business program, into their vendor program. So there's a list of them on our webpage. You can see dgs.ca.gov/PD-reciprocity. You can find the full list there. We've segmented them out by in Northern California, Bay Area, Southern California, San Diego. You can see all that. I mean, I know in my area here, it's the county of Sacramento. They have their own program, right? And you're not going to find these reciprocity partner opportunities in Cali Procure. I just want to make that clear as well. You're still going to have to go onto their vendor portal to register as a vendor with them. But when you're doing that, you're just going to include your certification information that you've received from the state, your certification ID number, and apply it to their program. If you happen to be in Sacramento County, think your business is based in Sacramento County. Sacramento County is a reciprocity partner to us. As you're registered to them, they're also probably going to give you some added benefit to being within that county as well. So you're going to have your small business benefit, then you're going to have your local business benefit. That kind of thing is going to help you create more opportunities at the local level. Take advantage of it if you can. You got UCs and CSUs as well. So utilities, they recognize our DVBE certification. They do not recognize the SB certification. They have another certification platform that they use. Okay, so another way to leverage your state certification is through the emergency registry. Now, this is not the only way that you can do emergency work. This is just a tool to help department buyers find you more efficiently. It is separate from Cali Procure. And basically, you have to be certified SB or DVBE to get in this registry. And once you apply for certificate, or once you apply for certification, the next day after Cali Procure does its updates, you can apply to get in the emergency registry. It creates a category of predetermined set of categories of goods and services that the state's going to buy in emergency situations. So office paper is probably not going to be there, right? But if you can provide services such as, fire cleanup or plumbing or debris removal, set up a base camp, traffic control, anything that somebody may need on a moment's notice, there's a lot of different categories that you can look through to get your business there. Now, you've got to be able to answer the phone between 5 and 9 and on Saturday and Sunday, and provide service between 5 and 9 and on Saturday and Sunday to be in this emergency registry. Don't want to waste anybody's time. Okay. So you're going to need your certification number. You're going to need the emergency categories, and I gave you a little sample of them. Then you're going to get a little bit descriptive of the products and services you provide. If you can loan out construction equipment for debris removal or moving materials, whatever the case may be, you want to get descriptive. Say what kind of loaders you have or dump trucks that you have or whatever the case may be, and how many you have, in the business address, where they're located. So that apartment buyer knows, okay, this business is located in Mendocino County. This emergency is here. So I'm not going to contact that business located in Fresno because I need this service in Mendocino and I need it now, not in a week. Okay. So you're going to have good contact information in there. All right. So how do we get there? Back to Cali Procure. Sell to the state. Scroll down and then click on the SB DVBE emergency registry link. Okay. And this is where you're going to get your business registered. It's going to actually take you back to, I don't know why we didn't, of all things we didn't include, we don't have a slide of because it takes you back to the DGS webpage. And there you're going to get started, and make sure that you are a vendor, because there's a buyer and a vendor login. So you're a vendor. Okay. To make sure buyers are the state departments, because the buyer needs different access and they wouldn't be able to find you as a business. All right. Now, one thing, moving on. So in this next slide, we're just going to cover commercially useful function. We refer to it as CUF. It's state law. It requires SBs and DVBEs bidding and participating in a contract to perform a commercially useful function. That you execute a distinct element of the work, you manage, you supervise your work, you negotiate the price, the quality, quantity, etc. You are in charge of your business in doing all of this. and you don't subcontract a portion of work that's greater than expected by industry practices. I'm more familiar with the construction industry. It can't subcontract out a whole bunch, right? Completely different than maybe somebody that does event management, um, or something along those lines. Okay, so you want to make sure you as a business owner are actually being a commercially useful function and that you are not being used as a pass through, right? Um, and you're not they're not taking your bid to perform, but then they don't use you on that contract. So those are examples of violating violation of cuff, and that's program abuse, and that could be, there's fines associated with that. You could be prevented from future state contracting if you are violating that, or if the prime contractor is violating that. Maybe they're listing you because you're a DVBE and you are all giving that prime contractor good information, and you want to do that work, and the prime is just listing you down and then they're never using you. Ideally, the buyers are double checking that information, making sure that you are actually performing on that contract. Okay, but so long as you being forthright and honest in the bidding process and the performance of work, you got nothing to worry about. Okay. This is just here to level the playing field and protect the integrity of the SB DVBE program, and you as a certified firm. It's not, it's not good if somebody's gaming the system and you're losing out because somebody's gaming the system. We want to make sure everybody's uh, participating appropriately. All right. Any questions? I see none.
None at the moment.
All
And I do
right.
believe that was towards the end.
Yeah, we are getting very close. I've got a couple more here. This is the stuff we've talked about. I'm not going to talk about it again because we already talked about it. All right.
Then I
But
will note,
mhm,
if you do have any questions that come up as we go through the review and you get all that contact information, we do have one final spot for any last minute questions. Please do make sure you enter those into the Q&A. But other than that, Chad, please go
all
ahead.
right. Yes. So this is what we've talked about. Procure keywords. Remember, Procure. You have a notification profile, certification profile, two different functions. Important. All right. Understanding keywords, UNSPSCs, SB Advocates. They are your pathway to doing business with those particular departments. How to find them. How do they buy? Really important information. Leveraging your state certification through reciprocity partners, leveraging your state certification with emergency contracting if you have that capability, and making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing in terms of cuff. So this has been I'm certified. Now what? I highly encourage you to participate in next steps to contracting with the state, where they're going to I don't know who the presenter is, but they're going to cover a lot more information about the different contract methods. Other resources, Apex Accelerators, that's where we are now. Small Business Development Centers perform a little bit different function, and SCORE as well. Now, you've asked, schedule a consultation, grab your phone real quick before I slide away. But of course, I'm going to share these slides are going to be shared with you, so you can always um, get to schedule a consultation later. Okay. Um, and then more educational opportunities. So you've got the stuff that we are doing with Norcal APEX. We're also doing, we've got an event up in Truckee in a few weeks, and I'm going to Mendota for a small business event in a couple of weeks. So there's other outreach events that we participate in-person events that you may be able to take advantage of. This takes you to our calendar, and you can see those as well. So we have a small social media presence on LinkedIn, but I would encourage you to follow us if you are there as well. We just had some great tips on how to do business with the state. Tuesday's Essentials, where we highlight various upcoming solicitations and other opportunities. Wednesday Watch List, where we list all of our webinars, upcoming webinars that we're going to be, or in events that we're participating in. Okay, and so much more that you can take advantage of, get connected. And if you are a small business, I would encourage you, if you have a success with the state, this is completely unscripted. We are looking for success stories. So if you're a certified small business,
Hmm.
certified DVBE, and you've got a success story that you've I got certified and 2 weeks, 2 months later, I've got my first contract and it's led to more opportunities. We'd love to hear that. So you can contact me, you can contact Amanda. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd like to do a little write up. We would share that information here, help you get that information out there. Help, we want to share those success stories because I know there's a lot of them out there, but we also want to help you promote your business as much as possible. So that is it for me. Thank you for participating. Here's my contact information again. Amanda will share this information, so you're going to have it. And with that, I'm going to share. I'm going to turn it over to Amanda to close this out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chad. And as we are going through these final wrap up pieces, I do want to note we do have a webinar feedback survey. I will go ahead and drop that in chat. We always appreciate your feedback on our training events because we truly do put on these events for you and for businesses just like you. So if we could be doing better in some case. Maybe you want to see more in depth into Cal eProcure and like have us go through it in real time. Or maybe you want to see a bit more about certification and the process and the paperwork that you need. You want more information and details into that. This is the place to let us know. And on the flip side, if you think that this was a fantastic webinar where you got the links, resources, and information that you felt you needed to really take that next step into state contracting, we would always love to know that as well. So, in that vein, we do have quite a number of upcoming webinar events. And I will note we are planning to schedule quite a few in-person events with DGS in the new year. So please do keep an eye on that. I am personally working towards getting all of those scheduled. So I appreciate your patience with me. But we do have some great ones coming up just this month. On November 12th, so that is next week, we'll be talking about how and when to communicate with your contracting officer. And while this specific event is definitely geared more towards federal contracting, as it is part of our federal contracting series. Communicating with your contracting officer is applicable no matter what level of government contracting you are in. So, even if you're looking to just do business with the state, I'm sure that you'll be able to learn some foundational procurement skills that'll benefit you in state contracting at this event. And then, as we have also been saying throughout today's session, we have the third part of this series coming up on November 20th. We'll be covering the purchasing, the acquisition methods of the state and going into more detail and depth of you're certified, your account's good. Now let's get you those contracts. And so that is going to be on November 20th, our contracting with the California state government session. And to round out the end of this year, we'll be covering federal contracting certifications for small businesses on December 10th. And this is a good way to kind of expand your horizons. Once you get settled into state contracting, you can diversify and start contracting not only with local counties, cities, and local agencies like that, but you could branch out into federal contracting in that space. So this would be a fantastic certification webinar if that's something that interests you. And so with that, I do believe if there are any questions, now would be the time, but I do think I know everybody would love to have some extra time back in their day. So we'll give you a couple minutes. Think of any questions. Please do let us know if you have any. We'd be happy to answer them. And I will note the feedback survey is in the chat. So if you're feeling good, please, I would really appreciate that feedback. We really do. I look at them after every single event to see how we can improve these trainings to serve small businesses in our community, just like yours. So your feedback is truly invaluable to the program and our training courses. All right. And I'm not seeing any questions. So I'll go ahead and wrap us up. First and foremost, Chad, thank you so much for joining us today. It is always a pleasure to present with you, and I think you're a fantastic presenter. You explain things in such a simplified manner that almost anybody can follow. I honestly feel like I'm learning how to do procurement contracting with the state, and I don't even have a business. So thank you so much for joining us today. And of course, thank you all so much for joining us as well. We love connecting with businesses just like yours, and I love seeing all the networking and seeing people chime in chat. It is always a pleasure to present with you. And with that, I will say, oh, I will say, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. And thank you all
Sorry,
so
Amanda.
much for joining us. You're
Bye.
good. All right.
All right.
Well, thank you, Chad, and thank
All
you all
right.
so much for joining us. And I hope you all have a fantastic rest of
All
your
right.
day.
All right. Thanks, Amanda.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.